Hello everyone and happy spring. I have been getting some bits in the garden ready for the spring-summer season. I recently went to the plant nursery and I really wasn't looking for another white camellia, but I walked past this one called Nuccio's Gem and the size of the bloom was so huge I just couldn't resist to buy it. So I have added that to my camellia collection and squeezed it in between these two olive trees. I'm just running out of space now, trying to find places to squeeze things into the garden. But I repotted these two olive trees that I purchased into these yellow and orange huge pots because the last ones had some cracking and these are glazed, so these should hopefully be a little bit stronger for the winter time. And here, this is an Acer or Japanese maple called Butterfly. It's got very upright growth and I purchased this one just because I wanted something kind of slim and upright. I actually purchased it for a different space, but I think it fits this quite well considering that the back wall of the house is white and that pot is black, so I think it should work well when it starts to leaf out. And then when I was buying Nuccio's Gem, I felt like I was a bit off balance because I'd already had a white camellia in the garden, so then I felt like I had to get a different colour, so now I bought Mrs. Tingley because I liked the vibrancy of the pink. So these are the blooms of Mrs. Tingley. This camellia was actually pleached when I bought it, but I've removed the pleaching. I'm not sure if that will cause issues in the future, but I might have to have some clever pruning. Here's this little hosta peeking through. This one's called Mighty Mouse, so it's variegated, and I have one each side. So hopefully I can stop the slugs from munching on those. And then this is a clematis from Raymond Everson called Elena. It should be quite a saturated deep pink. This is its first bloom and it's only short, so I think it's probably just finding its feet at the moment. This is a clematis called Cezanne, and that's a blue as well. So we've got a blue and a pink trailing up here with this Gertrude Jekyll rose that should kind of weave in between, but that may eventually come out. This is another camellia called High Fragrance. Sometimes the blooms come out kind of yellowy white and sometimes they come out pink, but they smell like hyacinths. It's not really what I was expecting, but I don't dislike the smell of hyacinth, so that's fine. Here's Nuccio's Gem again. Annoyingly, the fox keeps digging up all of the pots. I'm having to put soil back in each time. This is the white camellia Blanco or Blanca. This was in a different location in a pot before and it got too much sun, so I think it's gone a bit light. So I've given it some iron and some seaweed fertiliser and hopefully that will help. And then the Brunner on either side are called Jack of Diamonds. It's got quite like a nice silvery sheen on the foliage. I'd initially bought Hadspun Cream for there, but when I saw Jack of Diamonds, I felt like I preferred it, so I switched it out for that. And that rose on the fence is a David Austin rose called Wallerton Old Hall, and that started growing. I'll show you that in a second. These pots all have rose trees in, so I've alternated a rose tree and then an obelisk with a clematis. So this clematis is called Pilu, and it's a nice pink colour, sometimes has double blooms. The first rose tree is Olivia Rose Austin. I've just moved it off of there because we have to replace this fence. And I'm not quite sure that the fence can hold the weight of the soil because there's no backing, so I need to sort that out. These are some Astilbes. It's Vision in pink and black pearls, so one pink and one purple. And then I have got a Princess Charlotte clematis arriving soon for that obelisk. And then on this obelisk is Crystal Fountain, which is a bluish kind of clematis with interesting kind of stamens in the centre. This is probably one of the most vigorous clematis that I have purchased in the garden. It's put on quite a lot of growth. I was initially putting it in the garage overnight because I purchased them quite early in the season. And I think it's given it a bit of a head start. These are Polemonium Golden Feathers. These do quite well in shade, and this kind of section of the garden doesn't get sun all day, so that's why I've selected those for here. This part does get sun. It reaches around to this point. So this is Clematis Josephine, which is kind of a pink version of Diamantina almost. It's kind of a pom-pom style, large flowered, a very nice pink. And then this is Diamantina, so this is a kind of bluish purple version of the same, kind of pom-pom style. This I bought from a garden nursery, and it was in a 3-litre pot, so this has had a head start on the Josephine, which came from Raymond Everson directly. That's Gabriel Oak. That's Golden Celebration. This tree had actually snapped when it arrived, but I'm just going to test it and see how it does for now. This is a clematis called Kaiser. It's a nice pink colour. It doesn't get very high, which is why I've chosen it to hide this gate, which we created a new garden bed in, and then we'll change the fence, so that gate won't be there anymore. I've had to put these sticks there to stop foxes coming under the fence and digging. And then that's kind of got a Harlow Car rose tree above it. And then here are some little echinaceas that I've planted, which are starting to come through. This is a penstemon, one of the volcano ones. It looks quite similar to apple blossom, but I can't remember the name of it. This is the apple blossom penstemon, which is very similar. So I kind of used one of those on each side. These are some roses that I've taken out to make room in the bed because I had too many. I had trees on one side and then roses in the bed. It was just roses everywhere. So now I've kind of transferred those out and put some perennials into the bed. And these are the perennials that I had left over that I haven't used yet. But we'll see what makes it, and I'm sure I'll make some changes over the season. So here we've got little Rudbeckia, some Gora, which I've actually just put in into the by the Diamantina. Here's some Brunneras, had some cream, a variegated one. They're actually in flower at the moment. These are some supermarket clematis, and this is another clematis from Raymond Everson called Parisienne. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one yet, but this one is the President, which I've cut down to encourage some more stems to come through, and this is a Guernsey cream. And then here we've got the really tall versions of the Rudbeckia called Herbston. They get to about 2 meters tall, so I need to work out a nice space for those. Here's a hosta called Sorbet, which is really starting to push through now. And Morning Star, which doesn't look the same as the label. It looks more yellow on the Google search. So I haven't added that one because I wasn't sure if I would like the foliage of that one. So I'm going to hold tight on that. Here we've got another penstemon called White Bedder, some Coreopsis, a Salvia, Feathers Peacock, because I preferred the foliage of this one. Then it's quite serrated, looks like feathers, hence the name. I prefer that to the one that I have in the front garden. This is Limonium Dazzle Rocks. And then this is a bee balm, which I'm not sure if I'm going to put into the garden now because I'm just concerned about how vigorously it spreads. So I may gift that one to somebody that actually does want a spreader. And then here I have some bulbs which are just waiting to come through in the summer. When it heats up, they should start pushing through. Those are tuberose. A couple of echinacea from last year, just seeing if they come back. They look like they're doing something. So here we've got some Astilbe. So we have Vision in Pink and then Black Pearls and then another Vision in Pink. And then directly behind that we've got the David Austin Rose Gentle Hermione, which has an amazing fragrance. And then here we have the hosta called Magic Island. I quite liked the foliage of this one. This one's really starting to get going now. It's warming up. And then this is the Phlox called Cool Water, which has kind of got pinkish, white, purplish hues in it. And then this is the clematis called Vianetta from Raymond Everson again. This is Jubilee Celebration Rose in the background there. And then I just have put some Rudbeckia Gold Star in front of that. So that should look nice against what's next to it. At the back here we've got Duchess of Cornwall, which is a purple clematis, which looks like it's struggling to get going at the moment. That might end up being switched out with something else. Here we've got the Nepeta Cat's Pajamas. I've got a flank of 3 of those. So we'll see how those do and if it attracts any cats to the garden. This is some echinacea, white swan, and I can't remember, it's a purple on the other one, I can't remember what I put in now. This is Clematis Tranquility, which is a kind of blue and white coloured flower. It's kind of pastel-y, quite pretty. And then this is Clematis Elizabeth next to it, because they go quite well together with their pastel colours, both from Raymond Everson again. These are my little trio of Scabiosa. So we've got blue, pink, blue. That's butterfly blue. That's one that came from last year that I was initially removed from the garden and was going to throw it away, and then I changed my mind and put it back in, so I need to see if that actually survives. And then behind that we've got the Veronicas. We've got Pink Potion on the left, and then Ever After, which is a blue, in the middle, and then another Pink Potion on the right. These are all in the Proven Winners selection, so that I'm hoping that those do quite well. And they kind of offset the Scabiosa that goes in the opposite direction, blue, pink, blue. And then here we've got another hosta just to break up the flowers and just add a little bit more interesting foliage. So this is the Fire and Ice, which is quite white. And then behind that, this is the Clematis again from Raymond Everson, called Giselle. This is a pink kind of cottagey style clematis with an interesting shape. The blooms start with like an interesting stripe on there. That's quite pretty actually. And then I have got some salvias. So one of them is the Sensation Rose, and one of them is the kind of icy blue colour one. I can't remember the name. And then behind those are the new phlox called Orchid Yellow, which is quite like kind of yellowy and pink, kind of nice spread. And then here we've got the Guernsey Flute Clematis, again another vigorous one. That's white. Apparently that's one of the most prolific flowers, so we'll see how that does this year. But it started well. It's definitely doing something now. Here we've got Verbena Lollipop. That's the kind of purplish small verbena. And then David Austin Poet's Wife Yellow Rose, with its nice kind of lemony fragrance. And then we've got just a run of echinacea here. So I think this one is Butterfly Kisses, and then Sun Magic Petite Double White, and then Supreme Cantaloupe. Those are little kind of double pom-pom kind of looking ones. And then at the back I have the Sunseekers series echinacea, which are a bit larger and the kind of more traditional, with the seed heads exposed. And then behind that I've got the clematis called Multi Blue, which I ordered online, and it looks a bit skimpy, but we'll see if we can do anything with that. I'm sure it'll be fine. The root system was fine, so we'll give that the season to see what happens. And then that's just a shot of the entire bed. Then I dug a little extra one in, because I managed to get hold of the David Austin Rose Evelyn, and I just had heard such good things about it from people in America, so I wanted to try it just specifically for the fragrance, but I'm just concerned that the health won't be so good in this climate, so we'll see what happens with that one too. This is Wollerton Old Hall, which is really starting to get going as well. You can see that I've tied the main stems down as horizontal as I can to trace the brackets on the fence, and this is giving off every kind of few centimetres or few inches is giving off some new stems there for flowering, and then there's main stems at the end. I had the Generous Gardener here last year, but the flowers just disintegrated after a matter of minutes, so I wasn't very impressed with it, so I removed it, and then I moved the Wollerton Old Hall that I already had to this position. And then this is Eustacia Vi, the tree rose from David Austin again, so we'll just see how that does too. That came